Hey everybody, as promised, this is our special Mint Out of the Box on the Road edition where we travel up to see one of my friends and visit his toy room, and we do a retrospective on championship belts for action figures. We got some pit stop footage for a little bit of a toy hunt. So thank you for stopping by and enjoy this week's show. Welcome back. Happy Monday to everybody. This is Mint Out of the Box on the Road edition. We're here at one of my best friend's house in his toy room. He's opened it up for us to do this very special episode where today we'll be going over the history, kind of a brief history of championship belts for action figures. As you can see, and we'll show you some pictures that we're both really big belt fans, as well as action figures, as well as wrestling figures. This is my friend Chris. We met the very first day of kindergarten in 1979. Yeah, we're a couple
long time ago.
We're a couple old guys that still play with toys. So, and I decided to do this episode here with him because he's kind of the one that introduced me to wrestling figures. We were separated from going to school together for 1 year of junior high, and then when we kind of reconnected, I went over his house and he had LJN figures, and I've never seen them before. I'd seen the commercials, but I'd never seen them in person. And from that's where it kind of took off. And I believe it was later that same year we discovered the AWA Remco figures. They were kind of already at the end of the line, and we were able to get them for $2 for $5 at KB Toys.
KB Toys.
It's amazing. You see the prices on them now, but we decided to do this video to talk about just how the belts have kind of evolved. So and I'm sure there's probably other things out there. I mean, there's some hardcore people out there that are going to show us something from Japan or Mexico or something like that. We're kind of just covering the mainstream American toy scene and the bigger toy lines. So the very first one it came with the LJNs, was this belt here. And it looked just like the big green belt that Bob Backlund had, that the Iron Sheik won, that Hogan first won from the Iron Sheik. It's spot on with the very, very, very detailed for the time. This one's green because it's been customized, but it came originally black. And then the tag team sets.
Tag team belts that were brown.
Yeah, like were kind of a chocolate brown, like the leather on the Ric Flair's belt.
And the face plate on those were silver.
Yeah, the silver face plate. So you had some kind of variation. I remember I was kind of offended, like going, Hillbilly Jim and Hulk Hogan never were official tag team and held belts, but it was cool because you could get extra belts, and I used to customize my belts so you'd have different ones. But that was part of my collection I sold off a long time ago. So then from there, around the same time, the AWA Remco figures came out, and the one belt that they included had the face as a sticker, and it looks kind of like the dome, the 10 pounds of gold.
Yeah, that never made sense to me, why the AWA guys came with the NWA belt.
Well, I think after doing some research on it, that the line first started off as the Pro Wrestling USA, the combination of all the territories that tried to go after Vince McMahon that lasted like 3 episodes because no one could get along. But there's some controversy out there, and I'm not 100% sure. I'm going by my memory, which isn't a good thing to do half the time. I don't remember. Ric Flair and Rick Martel both came with belts sometimes, because I saw where Martel didn't come with a belt sometimes. Some came with a sticker, just a sticker said like Rick Martel or something on it. And the Road Warriors came with these belts. So, because I remember distinctly having 4 of these at one time with my figures, because when I went and bought them, I made sure I got the one that had the belt on it. So from there, that was pretty much it for a long time until the Hasbro. I don't have an example of it, but the Hasbros, when you bought the blue ring, came with the Winged Eagle belt, and shape-wise and the details of the plates are there. It's a nice belt for the figures or at the time, but they never made an intercontinental or a tag team. So then from there, it kind of died off for a long time. Well, then Jakks Pacific started making belts, and the first belts they made a box set of champions, and the belts are really small, and they're way too small for the figures. They're very detailed, but way too small. They literally look like belts, like they're holding their pants up. And then the next box set they made them bigger, less detailed, but they were printed on the actual straps. They look good for what it was. Well, then Jakks really like upped their game and started making these ones here with the different plates and stuff. And look at them now, this looks like gold belts, but it was pretty neat at the time. I've seen some nice customizations on them. On some of the deluxe figures belts they made, they actually painted the belts and made them look
like
a lot better.
1, 2, 3 kid up there.
Yeah, so they eventually, this was good. Well, then I think it was Marvel made the TNA belts. We have an example of that behind us, and it came with this.
Marvel.
The TNA figures had a license with the NWA, and they made belts. And to me, this is the best. The NWA tag belts would have been amazing, but they weren't. They were kind of the same shape as the belts that Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson had, but they were a little bit smaller. They eventually got rid of those and had the regular ones. But the ones they made for the figures were the kind of small, so the plates are a little bit more narrow. Still looks good, and then they made the X Division belts, and they're amazing. And then that took us all the way to what we see. Here's another deluxe one from Jakks that it really worked. This style really worked good for the big gold. We were discussing that before the show about how good that looked. And then from there, we the ones that you can buy in stores now, and all the belts they make now are pretty amazing. And that's these right here. The plates are kind of thicker, but I think these belts are really amazing what they do, especially now that they're going back. Like the Stunning Steve that I opened up a couple episodes back has the WCW tag belt. So if they continue to progress like this, you're going to get a nice representation of belts, and you can get them and put them on other figures and things like that.
WWF belts are so horrible right now.
Yeah, we're not big fans of the new WWF belts. They all kind of look the same. Kind of looks like a watch. Like that's what I think of when I see it, and they just have different color straps and things like that. Belts was a big thing for us as kids because like now if a kid wants to buy a toy belt or even a replica belt, you could easily get these things. I mean, the price point is very, very low. I mean, full disclosure, the very first thing I ever looked up on when I was in front of the computer on the internet, it wasn't boobs, it wasn't porn, it was belts. I wanted to see if there was some way I could buy a championship belt, and I found JMR belts, and immediately rolled the dice because that's everyone takes for granted now. Hey, I'll just go on eBay and I'll put my card in and I'll buy this. I'll bank online. Nobody did these things at the time. So I took the chance and I sent off my money. It was $500, but I got a JMR Intercontinental belt. Was one of the most amazing things I'd ever had. Well, now you can buy, belts for a fraction of that. So like I said, we kind of lived through the dark ages of belts.
It is definitely a good time to be a belt collector.
Yeah, if you're happy, like some people, I've seen videos where people, oh, hey, I spent $5,000, $6,000 on it, which is ridiculous. But if you got the money and you want to do it, that's fine. But if you just want a nice, real looking representation of something for your room or whatever you want to do with it, I like to wear mine around sometimes in the house. But like as you can see right here, this is one, and trust me, 11 years old, this would have been the greatest thing I owned. It would have been amazing. We
would have worked out so many deals to trade this back and forth when we were kids. we would have traded LJNs for a belt and back and forth between the two of us.
It was kind of funny. The AWA, the Remco figures, they had a belt, a championship belt accessory that had little clips you could put on and hold the belts. Well, those clips were immediately discarded, and that belt was defended throughout the neighborhood.
That's right.
But
and the foam belts. Remember when we got the foam belts?
Yeah, the foam belts that came from, I believe it was the wrestling ring. At a certain point, LJN stopped being carried in the United States, and I believe we're only in Canada. And the wrestling ring, I think, was a company in Baltimore. They advertised on the back and inside of Pro Wrestling Illustrated. And that's how you're able to get the later line of figures, with a $12 price point, which back then was a lot of money, especially when you're a kid working at a swap meet.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how I was able to finish off that line. But they also made these foam belts, and I remember getting those belts. We bought the tag team set, and promos were being cut, pillows were being suplexed, furniture was being jumped off of. It was a pretty fun time. And I was just commenting before that he has a tag team belt that they sell in the stores now, and I was telling him, like, that would have been the greatest thing we owned when we were 12 years old. Like, this would have been like the greatest thing we owned. I mean,
just like that.
We made belts one time out of scarves, tinfoil, and cardboard.
Anything that we could put around our waist.
So like I said, that's why I wanted to do this episode. I wanted to come out here and do it with him because, like I said, I probably wouldn't even be into this as deep as I am if it wasn't for, being introduced to LJNs and the few wrestling tapes we had. His mom was nice and would spend the $50 on a wrestling tape, and we'd watch that thing till it fell apart.
Macho Man and Tito Santana.
The WWF's Greatest Matches. There's a videotape that had 4 matches on it. I think we watched that thing every day, along with a bootleg
Lord of the Rings
and a bootleg copy of WrestleMania 2 recorded off Showtime.
Yeah, I didn't even have the what was it? The Adonis match. Yeah, we didn't. It was like a year later that I found out. Wow, there's a match we didn't even see.
So, like, there's a couple matches from WrestleMania 2 and on that WWF's Greatest Matches that I could probably tell you, I could recite word for word the commentary of that.
When Macho Man and Tito Santana go outside, Jesse Ventura, they're in the mud, the blood, and the beer territory now, Gorilla.
See, there you go. But, like I said, this is going to be a shorter episode, but I want to thank my friend Chris for inviting me up. We had a nice birthday party last night.
Ooh.
So we're kind of feeling the effects of it today, but we want to get this video out. And I want to thank everybody for stopping by and tuning in. I see the likes are getting up, subscriptions. So if you like this video, like and subscribe. Every episode may not be something you're interested in, but, liking it and subscribing, you might find an episode you do like. And
diamond in the rough.
You never know. So, like I said, it would really help out. Having a good time doing this and interacting with everybody. So please continue. So that's going to be it. Thank you very much for tuning in. Have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you back here on Monday.